If you are a Spring Boot application developer, most likely you are familiar with Spring Initializer. You can go to start.spring.io and you can select the project metadata and also provide group ID, artifact ID and things like that. And then you can select the starters based on the type of application you are building. Then if you take a look at the application that is going to be generated, you can see it has the dependencies added based on the starters you selected. And that's it. There is not much code and you need to build everything from scratch. So there is an alternative to Spring Initializer called Bootify, using which you can generate a Spring Boot application with many features already implemented. For example, you want to build a REST API, you can do that. You want to build a full stack application using TimeLeaf template, you can do that. You can also generate an application with REST API and also a front end using single page application frameworks like Angular or React. You can do that. So let's take a quick look at what Bootify provides and how we can use it to generate a Spring Boot application. Let's get started. Let's go to bootify.io website, and if you take a look at the pricing, here you can see there are three plans: free, professional and enterprise. In the free plan itself, there is support for generating a Spring Boot application with Java or Kotlin, and also you can generate front end with TimeLeaf, or you can also select Angular or React based front end with a REST API backend also. You can also generate CRUD functionality for your entities, JPA entities, and also you can create entities by importing a SQL script also. So in this video, I'm going to talk about most of the features that are already available in free tier, so you don't need to pay, but there are a lot more features that are available as part of the professional and enterprise also. But if you are interested, you can take a look at the professional plan and what are the features that are part of this plan. So now let us go ahead and see how we can create a project using Bootify. You can use as a guest without even creating a account. You can directly go ahead and create a project, or if you are interested, you can create a account and then log in and you can generate a project, so that later when you again log in, you can see already generated applications that are linked to your account. But you can also generate without even creating or logging in. So now let us click on this, and here I'm going to start a new project, and this is the dashboard that is going to show when you try to create a new project. Here you can change the project group. In my case, I would like to give com.SivaLabs, and I'm going to generate a simple bookmarks application. Okay, I want to use maven, Java. I don't want to use Lombok. And for front end, as you can see, if you select none, it won't generate any kind of a front end. Or if you want to generate a front end with TimeLeaf and Bootstrap, and also there is options for TimeLeaf with Bootstrap plus Webpack, so that you can use auto reloading and all those features. And also there is TimeLeaf plus Tailwind CSS also. Similarly, there is support for Angular and React as well, again with the combination of Bootstrap CSS or Tailwind CSS. So you can generate any of these combinations. So in this case, let's say first let's go with the simple option of using TimeLeaf and Bootstrap option. And here in the database settings, you can choose whatever the database you want to use. I would like to go with PostgreSQL itself. And as part of the free plan, we don't have a Flyway or Liquibase option. So I will choose Hibernate update selection. Pluralize table names. Usually I prefer to have pluralized table names. And also for every table, I would like to have this date created, last updated columns to the entities. So I would select these two. And for application, whether you want to use properties file or YAML file, I'll go with properties. And these are the three options how you want to structure your code. So technical means package by layer. Typically package by layer means you have controllers package in which you put all your controllers in that, and you have repositories, you have JPA entities, you have services. So you organize the code using package by layer approach. That's it. technical. And domain driven, it's like a package by feature. Let's say in our application, we'll have categories and then bookmarks. So if you want to put bookmarks related all the service, repository, controller, everything in one package, and also categories as a separate package containing category JPA entity, category service, repository, and everything in that package. So you can go with domain driven, which means package by feature. And mixed is, it's like a first package by feature. That means you will have bookmarks and category packages, inside which you will have controller, repository, service, all these in a sub packages. So you can choose whichever the approach you want to go with. So in my case, let's say I want to go with the domain driven approach. Okay, in our case, we are building a time leaf based application. We are not building REST API, so I am not going to select this. But I would like to use Docker Compose support for local development. I would like to go with Java 21. In addition to the standard, based on the features you are selecting, it automatically adds all the required dependencies. In addition to that, you can also add few more dependencies. For example, DevTools. If you want to reload the code changes, you can use DevTools. And also most of the times I use some utilities from common slang utilities. So I would like to select, let's say, common slang 3. So there are few additional dependencies that you can add. And once this step is done, let's go to setup entities. So this is where we can design our entities. Let's start with creating a category. And here you can select you want to generate a REST API for this or a front-end controller. So we want to use time leaf based UI, right? So I will select this. But if you select, in addition to the front-end controllers, it will also generate REST controllers as well. But for now, let's go with the front-end controller only. And by default, there is a primary key ID. And here category will have only name. You can select required and it should be unique. And that's it. Now let's create another entity called bookmark. Now again, I would like to have a front-end controller, and here I would like to have a bookmark title, which is also required, and I would like to add one more property called URL. Again, it's also required. So that's it. Usually I can go ahead and create another field called created date or things like that. But if you remember, we have selected that created date, last updated date, those will be automatically added. So I'm not adding those columns here. So I'm going to save. So now we have two different entities, but there is a relationship between category and bookmark. So one category can have many bookmarks, and in the other direction, you can say many bookmarks can map to one category. So we are going to establish that relationship here. So click on this, and here you can select many to one from bookmark to category. Sorry. And here you can say what is the name of the field you want to have for the relation. I would say category. Okay. And it will be a bidirectional, but I don't want to have this bidirectional relationship. So I select this unidirectional and required. So this is the relation we will have. Now you can see many bookmarks belongs to one category, and also you can see date created, last updated, these two all added automatically. So now that we have our relationships and all, if you want to take a look at what is the code that is generated, you can see this pom.xml with all the web validation, JPA, PostgreSQL, time leaf layout dialect, and also it is using WebJars for serving the static content like Bootstrap. And so all the dependencies are added. In addition to that, we have selected Docker Compose for local development. So it already created a Docker Compose file and configured the PostgreSQL database also. Now, if we take a look at the code, here you can see we have com.sivalabs.bookmarks as the base package. And then if you remember, we have selected domain driven style of packaging. So here you can see bookmark is a package, and in which we have bookmark as a JPA entity. Okay, and you have bookmark controller, DTO, repository service, everything related to bookmark in one package. Similarly, there is category package in which we have entity, controller, DTO, all the features for category in one package. And these are the common things, like we have config package in which there is some configuration that is common for entire application. You can find that here. So here some auditing configuration and local development configuration. So this is common for any application, and also some common used utilities here. So out of the box, you can generate an application with all the features like a CRUD operations. Let's take a quick look at this bookmark controller. Here you can see there is a list which is going to show all the bookmarks. There is going to be add, edit, update, delete. So all the CRUD operations are already implemented. And if you take a look at the resources, there is time-lift templates created for all the things also. So it is very nice compared to what Spring Initializer provides. So let's go ahead and download and open the project in our IntelliJ and then run and see how it looks like. I have opened the project in my IntelliJ. So here, let me take a look at the application. So here I'm going to start the application. And we are using a Docker Compose support, so it's going to start a PostgreSQL database automatically and then starts the application. So application is started. Now let's go ahead and access our application. So you can see the application is started, and here you can see explore your entities, and here let's go ahead and create a new category. Let's call it as Java, and also create another category. Springboot. Okay, so you can see automatically we have edit, delete options. So here we can create Java, let's say 24. We can edit this. So like this, you can, let's say, create another dummy one, and you can also delete. So basically you can perform all the CRUD operations. Now let's go ahead and go to bookmarks, and here you can call, let's say, Spring block. So here you can see, as it has a many-to-one association to category, it is automatically showing this drop down. You can select, let's say, Springboot, and add the bookmark. Yeah, you can create it or you can edit it. Let's say Java 24 and also /blog. Okay, so you can save it. So as you can see, we are able to generate a full-fledged application using time-leaf, and it is generating based on the selection model. It properly segregated the code into different packages. So it is generating a much better application with a functionality than Spring Initializer, which is generating a bare bones application. And one more thing I would like to demonstrate. As you can see, while selecting this style, we have selected domain driven. If we select technical, and let's see how the packaging structure would look like. Now, if I go to, so here you can see there is controller, domain, model, repo, service. So all the services, bookmark service, category services are in service package. All the repositories in the repos package. All the JPA entities and DTOs are here. In the domain, we have JPA entities. All the controllers are here. So basically, this is nothing but package by layer. Okay. So now if we go ahead and change that to, we have seen how the domain driven looks like. Now if you select mixed and explore, you can see first we have bookmark package, in which we have again this technical layers, controller, domain, models, and things like that. So it's up to you which kind of a package structure you prefer. Personally, I prefer to go with domain driven. Okay, so that is how simple you can generate a Spring Boot application. So now next, let us take a look at how we can generate, let's say, Angular Bootstrap application. Okay, now let's take a look at, is there anything we need to change, and set up entities. Entities are fine, and also let's take rename it as bookmarks full stack. Okay, so now I'm going to download this. I have opened the generated project in my IntelliJ So here, as you can see, when we generate a Spring Boot application with Angular frontend, here you can see the Angular JS applications configuration files, package JSON, Angular JSON. And if you take a look at the Angular JSON configuration, source root is set to src main web app. So all the Angular JS application content is inside this directory. If you take a look at src main web app, so this is where all the Angular JS applications code goes into. Okay, so if you take a look at this Java source code, and here instead of controller you have bookmark resource, in which we have REST controllers, not the regular controllers that render timely views, but here we have REST controller and we have all the CRUD operations API endpoints. So now you have front end with Angular and back end with Spring Boot. Now, how do we do a local development? So here it is already selected the Spring Boot's main application class. And for local development, if you go to configuration and enable the local profile, because it is going to activate CORS configuration to front end. So if you take a look at the Angular local config, so this configuration is enabled for local development that allows CORS request from 4200, which is nothing but Angular JS applications default port. Okay, so now we have this configuration, and let's start the backend API. And if you go to console, and first we need to install all the packages in node package JSON. So we have already installed them. Now we can start like a regular Angular application ng-serve. Okay, so it is going to start the application, and if you take a look at so the UI looks very same. And if we go to bookmarks, you can also create some. You have edit and all these features as we have already seen. So similarly, so as you can see, be it a time leaf based view or be it Angular based front end, it is generating all the CRUD operations and it is working great. So this is how simple you can generate a full stack application. Not only generating any working application, if you take a look at the generated code, a lot of common best practices are followed in this code base. So I highly recommend you to take a look at it, understand what are the practices that are followed. And if you take a look at Jackson configuration, so many of the configurations that are typically used in production grade applications are implemented in this one. So I highly recommend this. And also one interesting part here, you can take a look at this Angular forward controller. So if you are making a request to any API endpoint, that needs to be handled by Spring Boot backend controllers. But if you are accessing anything else, you should ideally redirect the user to index.html page. From there, Angular takes control and then render the web page. So it is already handled here. So this is how you can generate a full stack application using Bootify. So whatever the features we have seen so far, it is already available in the free plan. Now let us take a quick look at what additional features a professional plan offers. So here I have logged into my account which has a professional plan, and here again, same options you can see, and here you can see in addition to Hibernate update, you can also use Flyway or Liquibase DB migration tools. And then you can also generate additional features like multi-module setup, or you can use actuator and mapstack for data mapping. So you get more options with the professional plans. And also earlier you notice there was no test generated, but with professional plan you can generate integration test which uses test containers behind the scenes. Okay, and then you can customize what kind of REST API controllers you want to build and what are the additional API endpoints you want to build. So you can provide more customizations here. And security, so this is a really nice feature. Implementing security is not that easy, and especially implementing production grade security is really a challenging thing. So here Bootify already provides, if you want to use a simple JWT token based authentication, you can do that. Or if you are using Timeleaf based frontend, you can also select form based authentication, or you can also use Keycloak for your REST API or your Timeleaf. So it provides tight integration with Keycloak OAuth based authentication as well. So you can choose whichever the approach you want to, and also you can enable social authentication with the login with Google, login with GitHub, things like that. Okay, so you need to provide where is the user table and what is the user ID and password fields like that you can map. So these are the features, and also you can link with your GitHub repository if you are in a professional plan. So there are a lot more features in professional plan, and I strongly recommend you to take a look at Bootify, and I am really impressed with Bootify. You can generate the CRUD application within just a few clicks, and you have a full-fledged CRUD application following the production grade good practices. So I highly recommend you to check out Bootify.io, and also in addition to all the code generation, there is a lot of documentation here. In addition to what kind of a features Bootify provides, there is a lot of articles that explains how to do certain tasks. So I highly recommend going through these as well if you are interested. Let's say pagination, how to implement it, and what are the things you need to take care. So there is a lot of documentation. Even if you are in free tier, these docs helps you to implement many features. So I highly recommend you to take a look at Bootify, and let me know in the comments, do you find it useful, and how do you compare it with Spring Initializer. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.